Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Ty Twin, and I'm back at it again with another flight attendant video. Kind of, sort of. Yeah. Today I decided to sit down and talk with you all about how to get the job as a flight attendant. The steps, the questions, all of that. My job is currently hiring 850 flight attendants. Regional ones are hiring as well. So I feel like this would be a good time for me to come on and try and help people with the questions, the process, everything. All stay tuned if you're interested. I mean, I feel like I'm pretty reliant in this area. The first thing I want to talk about is the process in getting this job. This is a very long process, okay? So when you first apply on anybody, the first step will be either one or two things, and it's interchangeable, so it may happen one way or the other, but these are both going to happen. Either you'll get a video interview first, at which point they'll send you a link and it's just like you're talking to your camera, it's asking you questions, and that's it. Or you'll end up doing the assessment first. An assessment obviously is like 100 or 50 question assessment asking you different scenario questions about the job. Then after those two steps, a phone interview. I've only done one of those only because my video interview wasn't working. Last step that is always going to happen is a face-to-face. Now because of COVID, I don't know if they're doing face-to-faces in person or if you're on a Zoom link actually talking back and forth with someone. However, you'll still have to go through that phase, all right? Before I get into the questions though, I do want to tell you something about the assessment. It's asking you all these questions and wording it in different ways, but it's the same question, right? What you want to make sure that you focus on, because I'm sure you're not going to remember what you said 50 questions ago. Make sure you are answering these assessment questions with safety in mind, because my job as a flight attendant, my primary job, what I go to training for, is to make sure people are safe and how to take care of people if for whatever reason there happens to be a hazardous situation. That's my first tip. When you're answering that assessment, keep safety in mind, because that is your main focus as a flight attendant. Number one question that every single flight attendant application process has in it, I don't care what airline or who you are applying for. It can be Delta, it can be Emirates, it can be Qatar, Lufthansa. They're always going to ask you multiple times in any interview application process, are you willing to relocate? That's one of the two questions that they're always going to ask you, and your answer every single time should be yes, period. Nothing else. Yes. All right. The number two question that they are going to ask you at the interview every single time, I lie to you not, it's gonna happen. Why do you want to be a flight attendant? Guys, I can't tell you what to put right here because you have to make this question unique to yourself. However, I will tell you, do not, I repeat, do not say because you love to travel. Obviously you love to travel. Obviously you want to travel. Everybody who has this job wants to travel and loves to travel. Be original, be creative, make it something personal to you. Make it something that your interviewer can get closer to knowing who you are as a person. Majority of the questions that they'll ask you for this type of job are situational questions. It's easier if you do answer in the STAR method. STAR method, that stands for situation, task, action, and result. Basically, it's for people like me who don't know how to set up a plot to a story. You know, in a story, there's a plot, there's a conflict, there's a peak, and there's resolution. Same concept, okay? It just keeps you concise, helps you name the bullet points of your story. That way you don't end up rambling like me right now, for example. Name a time you had to adapt to a difficult situation. How are your resolution skills? You know, how are your skills in solving a situation? Your problem solving skills. Name a time you dealt with a difficult coworker or management. Working with people is a job that I have. I work with new people every 3 days. People I've never met before. Sometimes I've met the people before and I don't like them, but you know, that's fine. You still gotta suck it up. How did your previous job prepare you for this job? Obviously, you don't have to have customer service experience. If you've never had a job before, that's fine. If you've been in college and you've been fortunate enough not to have to work while in school or whatnot, That's fine. Just tell them about a time where you had a group project or a time where you were dealing with people, because at this point in life, because you can't get hired unless you're 21. At this point in life, you've had some experiences with people in one way or another. Name a time you went above and beyond for a customer. They're gonna look for people who has customer service experience. However, I will say this, you don't need customer service experience in this industry. I do, however, feel like you need to be somewhat of a people person. If you're not a people person, that's fine. Just put on a show like you're a people person. No. You have to be a people person. I take that back. They're like, yeah, it's a people person job, okay? How would you handle this situation? If a customer refuses to put their laptop up for landing or takeoff, what would you, blah, blah. What would you do? The first time, I would ask them kindly if they can go ahead and put their laptop up. Explain to them why you need it. If you say, hey sir, I'm sorry, but at this time we need your laptop put up in order for us to ensure your safety. If you walk away, come back and it's still not up, and say, hey, do you need me to put it up for you? Is there a place you want me to put it right here? Or just ask them again kindly to go ahead and place it underneath the seat in front of them. That way, just in case something happens, we don't need them to injure themselves with their laptop. Something along that lines. If you ask people nicely, a lot of people feel like they're owed an explanation, and once you give them one that involves the safety of them or those around them, then at that point they usually will comply and be cool about it. If you were working and there was a passenger complaining about sitting next to someone of a different race, how would you handle it? I would see if I can move folks around, get that person that they're complaining about. Honestly, I would move them up to the front in a first class situation, because this person's complaining. That's fine, you can stay back here, because it's not that deep, honestly. Like, why are you complaining? You're probably gonna be asleep. So that's what I would do. I would just try and figure out if I can, because at this point you don't want anything to escalate between two people. You don't want that. You don't need that. Tell me a time your job was frustrating and what did you do about it? So for this question, I would definitely give an example that highlights your ability to find a way to turn a negative situation into a positive situation. They may ask you to describe a color to a blind person. Why would you need to describe a color to a blind person? Well, you never know. If there's an emergency situation and then there's a flashing light, a flashing red light, I don't know, we'll just say that, or a flashing light, period, flashing white light. It may be a situation where somebody needs to go towards this light, this colored light, in order to get to the exit in the event that you have to evacuate an aircraft. So although this question seems wild and difficult, I don't even know how I would answer that one, honestly. How have you ever made a mistake at work and what did you learn from that experience? Always make sure that I wouldn't make the mistake anything too crucial. However, always make sure you tie it back around. Don't forget to tie it back around to how you've grown and elevated and learned and retained whatever lesson that you were supposed to from that. And if it comes from somebody else, that's fine as well, or a customer, that's fine as well. Just make sure you put how in the future you've grown from that. All right, two passengers are arguing. How would you handle? Definitely try and separate them in order to prevent anything from escalating further to where it could potentially endanger the safety or cause a safety issue for our other passengers. That is exactly what I would say. That was good, Ty. That was good. Can you adhere to the no crazy hair, no visible tattoos policy? Always say yes. Y'all, I did not get a job because I told them about a tattoo. When they ask about your tattoos, they're gonna say, do you have any visible tattoos? Either they'll ask it in one of two ways. Do you have any visible tattoos? Or do you have any tattoos that will be visible in uniform? My tattoo is right here. If I wear my dress without the cardigan, you can see this. Do I say yes? No. Always say no, okay guys? Because honestly, you can cover it up. If you can cover it up, it's a no. And even if you can't cover up, if they can't see it at the interview, say no. Tell me about a time you had to change at work and how did you handle it? So this question, they're asking this because our job industry, stuff changes so much. Stuff changes. so quick too. So 1 minute you can be going somewhere, but your flight could get canceled, and now they added 2 more flights that you have to either deadhead or work in order to get to that original destination. Or, you know, you could end up not having to work. That's happened to me before. So many things can change depending on weather, flights, who knows? Like, things change rapidly. So that's why they're asking this question. So always make sure you answer this question with the idea in mind that you handled it well. You know, you took it and you rolled. You just adjusted how you went about whatever it is that you were going to do, you know? What do you think will be the most difficult for you if you get this job? Guys, I can't tell you what to say on this. However, I will say, do not say anything along the lines, well, I think I'll miss my family. Of course you're gonna miss your family. However, you don't want them to be under the impression that you won't be able to do your job and that, you know, you'll be distracted and depressed. I don't want to say don't say that you'll miss your family. I just want to be careful, I think, about how you go about that, because you don't want them to have any thought or doubt in their mind that you won't be able to fully commit to what your job is. What is the difference between customer service and professionalism? That is another question that I've heard before. I've never gotten this in an interview question. What does, insert company's name, brand mean to you? Obviously, what I would do for this question, y'all, look on the company's website and make sure you know what their brand like represents. For example, say we go back in time, Pan Am. Example, what does Pan Am mean to you? Like, what does the brand name mean to you? It means excellence, it means confidence, it means, what else does it mean? Look on the website and just encapsulate everything you feel about the company, as well as what the company say their mission is. Just do homework, guys. Tell me about yourself. I always go on to say how I'm an Army brat, or how I was an Army brat growing up, moved around a lot, saw the world, and ever since then it was my passion. I always say something along the lines, oh God, I always end up saying something along the lines of that, because I mean, that's my truth. That I was an Army brat. I grew up moving every 2-3 years when I was growing up. Tell us about one time where you had to take the initiative and how it worked out. So they want to see your leader skills right here and how you prevailed in doing something that was above and beyond, basically. Describe a time when you were working on a team and one of the members were not doing their part. How did you respond? Guys, remember that STAR method. I know I haven't talked about it in a couple questions, but this is the perfect type of question in where you would say the situation, the task, the action, and the result. You call a situation at work where you would have done something differently. Remember to not highlight where you didn't do something at all. Just make sure you say how you would just go about something differently to still get a good result. Like, still make sure your result was good with whatever you did, but make sure whatever example that you give, it's still a positive ending to it. Name a time where you caught a coworker doing something dishonest. How would you handle it? Guys, now, okay, they actually asked this a lot on the assessment. Just report it, because you just report it. It's not, just report it, okay? If it has nothing to do with say you're on the ground and somebody's stealing liquor out of the cart. What you do? You report it. Just report it. Name a time where you had to work with someone who had a difficult personality. At this point in life, everybody's come across people who have had conflicting personalities with your own. It's okay, that's fine. They expect that because everybody doesn't get along with everyone. However, always remember, at the end of the day, what are you here to do? And that's the answer. You're here to work. You're here to get the job done. You lack inventory for your in-flight service. Getting restocked may cause a delay. What would you do? Now, I've never been asked this question. I don't know who asked this question in their interview. Thinking about it as I'm editing, I would actually say make sure, if anything, that there is emergency food and water on board in the event that you are waiting on a tarmac for an hour and a half, because at that point, it's FAA regulations that you at least have that. That is the only time that I would risk a delay, when it involves catering. Other than that, yeah, no. Those are all the questions that I have today. Thank you for joining me. Also, a word of encouragement. Sometimes you don't get these interviews or you don't get the CJOs on the first try. Trust me, I didn't. I applied for this job, or I started applying for the job after I graduated college. I didn't get it until like a year later, I think, or 2 years later. Don't give up, guys. If this is something that you really want to do, keep trying. It'll happen eventually. And another thing, you don't have to be young. You don't have to be 26. You don't have to be 21. You can be in your 50s. In my class, there were 50-year-olds. Remember, any questions or comments, you can hit me up in my DMs on Instagram, or you can comment down below and I'll answer that as well. Tell a friend about me and my channel. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all later. Okay, bye.